If you're new to watch collecting, there is a high chance that you can fall prey to watches that are just not worth your hard-earned cash. That is why in this video I'm going to talk to you about 4 watches that are extremely popular that you should avoid if you want to start a high-quality watch collection. Spoiler alert, some of the watches in this list will shock you. Hi, I'm Olivier, and on this channel we search for the best deals for you on high-quality watches, be it on Amazon, AliExpress or other platforms. If that is something that resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. A word of warning, if you own or aspire to own any of the watches in this list, I'm no one to tell you otherwise. The main rule in watch collecting is to buy and own whatever you like. However, the aim of this video is to guide new collectors so that they don't make choices that they will later regret. For those who know the channel, you know we did a similar video a while back. It is by far my most watched video to date, so I know this subject interests a lot of you guys. At the time I stayed pretty vague, though referring only to categories of watches. But in this video, we're going to talk about specific models. And I'm starting head on by the most sold watch of all time, the iWatch. This thing is wildly popular, people just adore this watch, and I'm sure I'm going to get tons of hate just by mentioning this product. But some watch lovers will not even call it blasphemy to refer to this piece of tech as a watch. But it tells the time, it straps your wrist, so technically it is a watch. But it's at the same time much more and much less than a conventional watch, and let me explain why. It is much more because it allows you to perform an infinity of functions that a normal watch, even the best G-Shocks, can only dream of. Answering a call, text messaging, playing games, installing thousands upon thousands of really useful apps. It even works as a health monitor, tracking activity, sleep, and working as a safety equipment that can save many lives. And the cherry on top, with the latest and high-level version, you can really use it as a dive computer, by far surpassing the functionality of a dive watch as a diving tool. However, the Achilles heel of the iWatch is its early obsolescence. The beauty of watch ownership is that you have a piece that, properly maintained, is going to last for generations. The oldest watch from my collection is a Seiko Pogue from the 1970s, and there are watches from the 1920s that are still ticking. An iWatch is a product that becomes obsolete as soon as the next version comes out, so in a year's time. If the battery doesn't fail in a maximum of 4 to 5 years, then it is useless in the time of latest upgrades. And to be honest, as a tech person, you're going to want to change it less than that for the new, improved model. Plus, even though you think it looks cool, well, it doesn't. It is quite ugly on the wrist. It is a big slab of metal and glass with no real soul and aesthetic value. And then there's the charging. It's just another thing that you will have to charge every 1 to 2 days tops. I have tried the best of both worlds by strapping a smart bracelet to my right wrist, and it looks better than a huge iWatch in my honest opinion. And if you knew the classy, top-of-the-line heritage watches with tons of value that you can buy for the price of an iWatch, you would be impressed. If you're interested, I can make a video about that. For the next watch I'm going to get a bit nasty, so please don't take me too seriously. If a picture says 1,000 words, I shouldn't even talk for this one. Just look at this thing. I mean, how? This ugly monster is 58mm in diameter, more than most dinner plates. It is a whopping 63mm in lug-to-lug. This watch is just not compatible with the human anatomy, or aesthetic sense for that matter. Its only redeeming quality is that it shows times in 4 different time zones simultaneously. But if you like large watches that remain humanly wearable, There's a ton of stuff from Seiko and so many other heritage brands that are classy, masculine, and have tons of heritage for the same price. For example, take the Seiko Turtle, which is large and chunky, but just so much better. Or if you like busy dials, you have the Citizen Nighthawk, which is quartz and displays 2 time zones at the same time, and it's a big boy as well. Speaking of daddy, Daniel Wellington was the daddy of old-fashioned watches back in the day. 5 years ago, you could see these strapped around the wrists of most young, trendy people, thinking that they had bought a bargain, affordable luxury watch, just a couple $100s. Nowadays, the iWatch has replaced these on the wrist of most millennials, but you still see these popping up on social media or on some wrists. What bothers me about this watch is that it's all about appearance and no real substance. And that it's, well, a rip-off. The watch has all the right proportions of a dressy piece, although maybe a bit large at 40mm, but it does have a mere 7mm in height and 47mm in lug-to-lug. It does look the part with a minimalist design that is certain to appeal to young crowds. But it's when you start looking a little closer that you realize it's just facade. The watch, heavily advertised as affordable luxury, is anything but, using the cheapest materials possible to cut down costs. The minimalist design is all part of that cost cutting, with an underwhelming dial, absolutely no case finishing, and a cheap looking and feeling leather strap, and the most basic Japanese quartz Miyota movement. The total production cost of this watch might well be under $5, all made from the cheapest materials in so below average sweatshop in China. So by selling it for $150 to $200, imagine the margins they're making on each watch. Okay, to be fair, there's always the cost of those Instagram models, but it's not all bad. This brand allowed the old wristwatch to be put back on the wrist of a younger generation that may now be okay with the simple fact of wearing a watch. It might be a kind of gateway drug into this beautiful hobby of ours. And these now attentive crowds can now explore new, more heritage and better brands that provide more quality and value for roughly the same price. If you like dress watches, there's the Orient Bambino for the same price of the Sheffield. This beautiful watch with historic proportions from Orient is a minimalist piece of watchmaking with a period correct dome mineral crystal and automatic movement. Orient is a brand that's been around for over 80 years, providing real value during all that time. The next and last watch on the list is the Invicta 6981 chronograph, and I bet most of you haven't heard about this watch, and I had not either before this review. So it's a surprise for me to discover that this watch was among the best selling watches on Amazon.com and that it had a 4.7 over 5 stars review. Quite impressive for a watch that is, to my taste at least, very tacky and that has awful proportions. Indeed, this watch boasts a gargantuan 48mm in diameter by a thickness of 17mm. This, alongside the golden tone and weird unbalanced design, makes for a watch that lacks elegance. The mineral crystal is understandable at the price point of just $60. The module inside is a Seiko Quartz VD53, which is a pretty good Japanese quartz chronograph. That and the price might be the only redeeming qualities of this watch. But if you're looking for a nice chronograph at this price point, why don't try the Pagani YS008? It might be a homage of the infinitely more expensive Audemars Piguet 11.59, but it's extremely well made, refined, and it comes with a domed sapphire crystal and Seiko Mecha Quartz movement that is just a pleasure to use. That's been it for the video, guys. I hope it was useful. If that was the case, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking on the big red button below. If you're looking for other high quality, affordable watches, don't hesitate to check these other reviews. I'll be seeing you on those, or I'll be seeing you very soon on another video. Goodbye.